gets it over right there. He gets it all.
Hundley holds, steps up. Hundley sacks T.J. Watt. NFL history. Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record. Oh, no.
In the air to right. This is deep. And he did it again. Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates. 3 home runs in a game.
All right.
It's incredible, bro.
We're ready, guys. Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio, right in the municipal building in Bethel Park. Can't miss us. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Smoking Jim Frazier just made it in. He's a worldwide traveler. Was away in Harrisburg this weekend.
In that foreign country.
Yes, it is. The middle of the state's foreign territory.
Did you get your passport back?
Hey, if we're not Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, there's nobody else in the country. Now Smoking Jim's getting a taste of it. Chip Painter's back. He's doing that rotation with Jim Guns Ellenbogen, and he's doing much better. We got a great update from Chip. Chip, welcome aboard. Nick Callis, I don't know if he'll be on the camera. We have no crew here today, so Nick is going to be one of the co-hosts. He's going to be also running the control room. He's doing the cameras to try to make Smoking Jim better. We don't know what he's dressed up for, but it looks like he has a winter vest on. So we know he doesn't feel hot or cold. And I'm a little chilly in the studio today. So, and I want to thank you for watching us on Comcast 21. I didn't make a mistake. It's Comcast 21 for the last couple months. It's like Smoking Jim on PCTV. Comcast 21 in Pittsburgh, but we got our own segment out here in Bethel Park. And thank you for watching us on Verizon 32, all the way from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and City of Pittsburgh and the greater Pittsburgh area. Thank all of you for watching it. Thanks for watching us on TV. We appreciate all of you with doing Pittsburgh Sportsline Live here. And thank you for watching us on live stream on Pittsburgh Sportsline Facebook. And even thanks for the others that are going to our Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. As you know, we're live streaming there. We're up to, I think, 113 subscribers. We need some of the 6,979 fans on our Facebook page. Come on over to Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. We've been doing it for almost 12 years. October 11th is not my birthday, but that'll be our 12th anniversary. I'll be 67 on June 30th for Smoking Jim's Knowledge, so we'll carry on with that. And we have our promos in there. Nick and I did some audio, and we did the video, so I hope you enjoy all our promos. And pay attention, because something can help you, or you can help some of the people, like at the Joey Fabus Cancer Foundation. You can help the Reed family with getting a kidney, and the Crawford family with getting a kidney there. So check them out right now. We're going to go to that right now. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com.
And now this message from BPTV.
Alas, poor talking machine. I knew him well. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy?
Dave, I'm not dead. I'm still doing Pittsburgh Sportsline every Tuesday night and many other weekly shows on BPTV.
That's great, Al, but then who's this?
I don't know, but we must leave right now. Let's go. Help save Pittsburgh police officer Jeffrey Crawford. Jeffrey is in need of a kidney donation. He's in stage 5 renal failure and he's on dialysis 3 times a week. He needs this kidney ASAP. To contact the UPMC donor registry, call 412-647-4438 or go to livingdonorreg.upmc.com. And to help spread awareness, use the hashtag #BlessJeff on socials. Let's come together to support Pittsburgh policeman Jeffrey Crawford in his time of need. Alex Reed is in need of a kidney. 2 weeks after college graduation, Alex's kidneys failed. A gracious donor gave Alex 7 years of life, but now he needs another kidney. To learn more about becoming a donor for Alex, call 830-285-2140 or go to kidneysolutions.org. Zhang Taekwondo just opened a new location in the South Hills, along with its location in Wexford and its inclusion in the curriculum of Provident Charter School in Troy Hill. Zhang uses Taekwondo to teach its students confidence and self-discipline through physical fitness. Zhang is offering a 4-week special. You get a uniform and lessons for $30. If you mention the Talking Machine, Smoking Jim, or VIP Nick, they'll give you a further discount. For more information, go to zhangtkd.com or call 724-934-9264. The special Taekwondo. We're going to talk about that. Okay, hey, hope you enjoyed those promos. Ralph Williams watching. Hello, guys. It's his 1-year anniversary.
Happy anniversary,
him
Ralph.
and Rhonda there. I remember that wedding day with Odd Smoking Jim Frazier. Hello from Erie. Way to go, Anthony Bacco. Thanks for watching. Hello, guys. Great to see you. Great to hear from you. Chuck Chief McElroy, great to see Chip back in action. Anthony Bacco, nice to see Chip back in the program. John Donatelli, the doctor, good evening, guys. I'm here for my weekly slice of Pittsburgh sports. Appreciated here in the heartland with Illinois or Iowa, I think he is, yes. Paul Haley from, I think it's North Carolina, maybe South Carolina. And Ralph said thank you. All right, we got those guys in there. And we got Nick. We okay, Nick? Okay, just checking. I got a special gift because Smoking Jim's been avoiding Grandmaster Zhang, their 1-year anniversary. And he gave me a Taekwondo hat that he put in a nice plastic bag. It's not off the street. And I don't know if you can get this on the camera, Nick, but Smoking Jim Frazier on the back.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
All right, can we get that for TV?
I see it now.
Yeah, look at that. Smoking Jim Frazier. I'll put it in the bag. And I'll flip it over.
I guess I can't stick that up under my shirt and go home with it tonight.
No, sir. And now we got to do Smoking Jim Frazier. What's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
You got to see Levine. Good to have my main man Chipper back, and the VIP of BPTV, Nick Harry Callis, is in the house.
From the fan.
But what's on my mind, Al Levine, the Talking Machine?
Yeah, what is?
You know, I feel bad for the king, King James, LeBron James. I tell you what, they started off 25-30, and they made it all the way to the finals. But I tell you what, LeBron James put up some records that'll never be broken. Number one, losing 6 times in the finals. Ain't nobody gonna break that, Al Levine, the Talking Machine.
Hold it, a minor disclaimer. Smoking Jim's the nicest guy in Pittsburgh media, but he turns negative in a heartbeat. Why can't he just say 11 finals he's been to?
I tell you
11. 11 finals.
I tell you what, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, another record that'll never be broken is to go to 3 different teams just to win a championship. Al Levine, nobody will ever break that record. And finally, his last record that'll never be broken, it only took him 30 seconds after the loss to start throwing his teammates under the bus. He's a poor teammate, but he's the king of being a poor
Hold it. Pete
teammate.
Kasich, our friend, we'll see him on Memorial Day. He said only Elvis is the king.
That's true, Pete.
And Amy's with us tonight. Hi, guys.
Hi,
Welcome
Amy.
back, Chip. Anthony Bacco. LeBron James, all talk, no show. Another fan, Smoking Jim. All right.
And that's what's on my mind.
Thanks for keeping it short and sweet, Smoking Jim. You can drink that 2-liter bottle of ginger ale. I don't know what's mixed in there. He says he don't drink. Let's go to Chip Hayner. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Well, I did have to giggle a little bit when I woke up this morning and found out LeBron had got swept again in the conference finals. You know, and I will say this in LeBron's defense. He's had a lot of accomplishments, and I think one of his greatest accomplishments is that he has never been involved in any controversies with a woman, with
In this
with
day and
fans,
age, yeah.
being on social media, flashing guns around or anything like that. He has really taken his platform and given back.
And look who he's helped.
And I give him that. I just have never been a big, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. This is what my feelings are about athletes from the past, athletes from the present. Everybody wants to try to say he's the greatest that ever lived. You can't compare eras.
It's very difficult,
The game
yeah.
was different. They have a game now where they don't even call fouls. Okay,
It's
back
a physical game.
Back in
too,
the
more
80s
physical.
and 90s when you had the Bruce brothers and the bad boys in Detroit.
Let these guys play then.
If you did what they did to people on the basketball court on the street, you went to prison. So, of his generation, he's probably the best of his generation.
Yeah,
Is he
there's
the
a few
greatest?
rivals out there.
Is he the greatest of all time? That's an argument for another day.
Let me vote for Jordan.
So,
Or Wilt.
I got a couple of things, and I want to make sure I give everybody else their opportunity to say what's on their mind. First and foremost, I am not, and nor have I ever been, a Ben Roethlisberger fan. And all of a sudden now, with this podcast of his, he has become singularly more annoying than Terry Bradshaw. And I said, what is it about ex-Steeler Super Bowl winning quarterbacks? Why cannot they just shut up and go away? Ben Roethlisberger gets on and he talks about how he was wishing that Kenny Pickett would fail and that the Steelers would fail. And here's a guy that for 18 years bled black and gold. He's a Steeler for life. How could you possibly say that you were wishing that team ill? It just shows you how much of a hypocrite and a phony he is. And he was a phony when he played, and he's a phony now. And I think the Steelers, realistically, should have won 5 Super Bowls with him if only he would have dedicated himself more to his craft instead of being Ben Roethlisberger. So that's the first thing that's on my mind.
Well, Chip, I got to interrupt you. I agree. I saw through the facade that he put up with his agent. Everybody donates to a charity. He did something honorable. He donated police dogs to police companies, and who protected him while he had all his sexual assault problems? Policemen. Now, I'm not throwing policemen under the bus. I respect them. They were mostly retired. But look at what he did and look at the life that he led. And just ask any bar owner in Southside in our area what they think of Big Ben. And I know that's Smoking Jim's hero, but he appreciates negative stuff, and we got plenty of it. So, Chip, carry on.
So next up on the docket, Pittsburgh Pirates have garnered a lot of interest, and I'm telling you what, first close to 2 months of the season, I am enjoying what I'm seeing. Was what happened in April sustainable? And I even mentioned this in a comment to somebody on social media. I didn't believe that it was. And what's happened in May is typical for a young team that's trying to find its way. The fact that they have played as poorly as they have in May, and they're tied for first place, if anybody in March
I said that, yeah.
would have said at the end of May the Pirates will be contending for first place in the division, they'd have looked like you had
I agree.
3
I
events.
said that last week.
Because
I'm
in March-
enjoying the games.
In March, the general consensus was this team's going to lose 110 games. And,
Yeah.
I don't believe that they're, I'm still not convinced that they're going to break 500. I think they're going to get pretty close within sniffing distance.
I got at the quarter bet with Nick that they
But
aren't.
you know what? They've got young players that are learning how to play in the major leagues. I think back at 2011. I've said this before. This team reminds me of the team in 2011 when McCutchen
Ooh.
was young. They contended for a while up until June, and then they had a collapse. And then the next year, they were in first place, and then the bottom fell out. And then
Yeah, I
what
remember.
happened was 2013, 14, 15, 16. They were over 500 each of those years.
Yeah.
Went to the playoffs, 3 of them. So everybody wants to micromanage the team right now. And I say leave the team in the hands of the experts. And that would be Ben Cherington, Derek Shelton.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are developing talent. And we've got talent in the pipeline. And as far as our catching woes go, the answers to those questions are in our minor league system right now.
I understand that. And everybody knows, I know Chip doesn't like me saying it, but I've been a disgruntled fan for years. And I'll just share this. I don't know or care who owns the team. I've watched more games this year than I've watched in 3 years. And guess why?
It's
I'm enjoying
fun.
how they're playing. I almost walked out on who hit the grand slam?
Tupaquita Marcano.
Marcano. I go to my son Drew. If Drew's watching, he'll tell you. I go, I'm leaving. I've seen enough baseball. They're winning. And he goes, Dad, you can't leave. It's like a 3-2 count. And I go, okay, I'll stay. I go on the sofa and I look. Grand slam center field, Marcano. So go Bucks.
No.
I'll add that. Chip, thank you.
And one day, not tonight, I'll talk to you about my feelings on the ownership of the Pirates.
Yeah.
It'll rile some feathers.
Yeah, and Chief liked my comment. I love Wilt, any generation. Ralph Williams said Schweppes of Essence. Bacco said the LeBron 0 for 19 on 3-point shots. And another thing with Anthony Bacco, remember when LeBron first came up? He always passed the ball away and wouldn't take last-second shots. Now, he made himself into a better player, and he did win some championships. I give him credit there, and look at his scoring. He beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he's only 38 years old and did it in 20 years. So we'll move on with that. And Randall Bogart, Smokin' Jim are All-American in Nebraska. That's a friend of Guns. He's reaching out. And then Bacco has, okay, but what's the record of the first-place team? Not outstanding for first place. I'm not sure with that.
You know, that's 25 and 22.
Yeah.
Ain't bad. Ain't
Yeah.
too shabby.
It's a winning record.
Ain't too
Yeah,
shabby.
I mean,
All right, we got to go to Nick VIP Callis on Pittsburgh Sportsline. If you listen to the Fan, we don't care what media you listen to, long as you're here tonight and like our page. And please subscribe to Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. He does work as Harry Callis on the Fan. What's on your mind, Nick? He's in the control room, so I don't think we'll see him. You can take the camera off of me and show something else, Nick.
The camera's just a wide shot right now. You can hear me, though, over there?
We hear you here.
I hear you, Nick.
Smokin' Jim, can you hear him?
I can hear Nick.
Okay, great. So, some Pirate comments. So, first of all, Mitch Keller should not have been taken out of the game on Saturday. So, when we call guys like Shelton experts, I mean, sure, they've managed Major League Baseball before, and I'm not a Major League manager. I wouldn't want to make tough decisions, but Shelton's usually been pretty good at admitting his mistakes when he's made them in years past. And now I think because they had a strong start, he's going to act like, oh, yeah, nope, we saw that Mitch Keller was thrown out of the stretch and he was thrown weaker. And I don't buy that, because if you would have taken him out, if he would have gone out for the seventh inning, he would have pitched from the windup. I wanted to get one more inning out of Mitch
Ralph
Keller.
Williams said he can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
Ralph, can you hear him now?
Hello.
We can hear him in the studio, but I don't know if it's is it showing on your thing that you're...
Yeah, my microphone's working.
Okay, it shows his mic's working there, Ralph, so if you give us an update, we know you're watching, even if you're in Erie.
So, yeah, but anyways.
Carry on, Nick.
Yeah, so I don't love that Shelton made that decision, and I don't love that he kind of doubled down on it. Mitch Keller.
Ralph can hear you. Anthony Bacco can hear you. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you checking in on that. Nick, carry on some more. So you don't appreciate that decision by Shelton.
So I don't appreciate the decisions by Shelton. I don't appreciate that he doubled down. And I think that when you have a pitcher who twice ended some losing streaks for you to get you on a winning path, you got to trust him to go out there for a seventh inning, under 90, 100 pitches, and let him finish. I will also say this, though, to kind of piggyback off of what Al and Chip were saying, is that I think we all need to calm down a little bit on our expectations of the Pirates. Now, I'm just disappointed because they had such a strong start. I didn't think they were going to fall off so soon. Injuries haven't helped. I understand that. Some other circumstances might have factored in. But I also know that the calls I heard after Sunday's loss might have been on the Fan when I took calls for the postgame show, that some of you guys out there are going a little nuts about the Pirates and a little bit too much, talking about how, quote, Angelar and Polancos, meaning Andujar and Palacios, are like the future of the Pirates. They need to play more. Don't understand that. We had a call. Somebody said that O'Neal Cruz needs to move to first base. You needed to shift Hayes over to shortstop because Hayes is the best defensive infielder. I don't know what in the world we're thinking with comments like that, and I think we all need to calm down with those. So let's find a happy medium, right? Andujar and Palacios right now are not the future of the Pirates, so let's just calm down there. Cruz is going to play shortstop for a while. Let's calm down with that. You can be sad about the Pirates. I'm sad. I think that they could have avoided a catastrophic fall, and they didn't. Maybe that exposes who they really are. I'm not sure. But I also know that the NL Central is extremely weak this year, and the Pirates have an opportunity to win it if they can continue to kind of balance out, like, not too bad of a month. They don't have to have a month like April, but they should not, again, have a month like May. And number 3, got a tweet earlier today from a guy who suggested that maybe Endy Rodriguez go down to Double-A and you bring Henry Davis to Triple-A. I think that's interesting. I also feel like, though, Endy Rodriguez has been public saying he's too good for AAA, it's time for him to come to the majors. And that kind of reminded me of Joey Porter Jr. talking about how he is frustrated for getting picked in the second round of the draft, as if, hey, guys, you have opportunities to play some of the highest or some of the greatest sports in our country at the highest level. What in the world are you losing patience over? You all are young. There's no reason to play with a chip on your shoulder for being picked 32nd overall in the NFL draft. Same thing for Endy Rodriguez. It's not like the Pirates aren't touting him as a great prospect. They're touting him. They're saying, hey, this guy might be our catcher of the future. And we also have a first overall draft pick also who could be the future of the team. So I don't like when players publicly speak out and say things like, oh, yeah, I'm upset because I deserve to play at a higher level. I don't love that. That's not team guy attitudes, and you can feel that way privately, but Rodriguez has made it public. Joey Porter Jr. made it public. I'm not a fan of that, and I don't think that the Pirates should have to worry about hurting Endy Rodriguez's feelings, even if they were going to make a move like that. That shouldn't factor into the greater good decisions of the organization, and that kind of upset me just to think that we might hurt Endy Rodriguez's feelings if he were to be moved down for a temporary period of time. That's what's on my mind.
Nick, I have one question.
Okay.
How old are all those young men?
Under 25.
That could be one of the problems they have.
Well,
they haven't matured.
Well, what my thoughts are is if they don't want their feelings hurt, don't play professional sports.
All right, Carmen Ciara says she heard you, Nick. Randall Bogart, he's doing well. He said, we just can't see Nick. Then Randall came back, since we can't see you, Nick, nice radio voice.
Thank you.
He developed that at Waynesburg University.
Under the tutelage of?
Tell him who your mentor was and professor.
Lanny
Go ahead,
Fratteri,
Nick, if
nice
you can
guy.
hear this, Randall.
Lanny Fratteri.
Lanny Fratteri, one of the best. All right, Anthony Bacco, armchair coaches trying to come up with ridiculous solutions. Spot on tonight, Nick. All right,
Thank
there
you.
we go. All right, Nick, I'll move on. What's on my mind? Whew. What a Friday night, 1-year anniversary for Taekwondo. I got challenged by Grandmaster Zhang and Master Zach, who runs Bridgeville. By the way, they got a Sportsline special. $1 to join for 1 month and 1 uniform. So go 111, call their main number or stop in Bridgeville. They're at the Chartier Shopping Center down by Planet Fitness, where Smoking Jim likes to go. I don't know if he works out, but they say he has quite the presence sitting in a
He
chair.
goes for the yoga pants.
And they look good, he said. All right, I got to show something, Nick. I got my boards. I got challenged.
Wow.
I did 3 boards.
Well,
They're
you
1
hammered
inch
that one.
thick.
You hammered that one.
1 inch thick. Look at these.
Chopping wood.
And I had to do it. I got a little bruised up. Grandmaster Zhang liked to challenge me. 1 year ago, I did a 2-arm, 4-arm Taekwondo break. You hold it like this. You follow through like you pitch.
You're all bruised up.
And it took me 3 tries on Friday. The first time I went bang. Nick was there. I couldn't break it. They go, come on, Al. Grandmaster coached me up. I go, bang. I looked at him. He goes, you going for it? I go, yeah. Busted it through. Got bruised up. If I hit my hand, I would have broke it. If I hit my elbow, I would have broke it. I hit the forearm. I got bruises, and they say, hey, Al, we all got bruises from doing it. They had 10 other masters there. The kids were patting me on the back. They go, Mr. Levine, that was great. You know how hard it is to do it. I go, no, I'm just having fun.
Wow.
So here's what Grandmaster Zhang, not only do I work for food at times, but I work for free thanks guys. I work for free t-shirts. Look at this classy shirt.
Beautiful.
Grandmaster Zhang, Taekwondo, it's over my head. You can't see me. How am I doing?
We can see your hair.
Okay.
Freshly coiffed at a Zazu.
Fresh cut from Azazu Salon and Spa, downtown Pittsburgh, 5th Avenue, Emilio today. And thanks, Connor, for the hair wash. Look at who I am now.
Board breaking machine.
All right, I'll hold it up high, Nick. What's this?
Lower. There you go. Lower. There you bring it down. Into the camera. There you go.
I need guidance.
There you go.
There, now you can see my hair.
Yep, you got it.
I'm now the board breaking machine Levine.
That's great.
Thank you to Taekwondo. We had a great time there. Got to interview about 20 people. The families and things are great. How about the one student that impressed me? Provident Charter School. They help dyslexic children learn and become educated. There was a young lady named Emma. She has a black belt. She's a master. Guess what college she went to last year? Yale.
Wow.
She's that smart.
There you go.
She went to Yale. I go, you got any people doing Taekwondo? She goes, only 30 to 40 regularly, but we get some more that come out. I go, how's the challenge? She goes, I'm challenged in every class. She did a steel fan dance. And now a steel fan's dangerous. They flick it open, they move it around. And I interviewed her, and Emma's great. Wow. So we're going to go to Nick. Do we go to you on this segment at all in a bit? Or?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Trying to get the lineup here, folks. I'm looking at Smoking Jim Frazier. We're going to go with Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine, my main man Chip Hayner, and the VIP of BPTV, Nick Harry Keller's making us look good. Al Levine broke my heart only one time. Some years ago, Al Levine said I was stubborn. And I didn't believe it because nobody ever called me that. And I thought he was joking at first, but he was serious. Now that I think back, I was always stubborn. Al Levine, the talking machine. You know, I played football and ran track in college. Brownsville High School used our track. We had an all-weather track, and they didn't have a track. So for their
Is that a cow?
Yeah, Cal. So they
Thanks for correcting. What year was that?
So they would use our track for their home meets, right? So whenever that would happen, the track coach would tell us to go run like basically a cross-country route, like across like a golf course, basically, about a 5-mile easy jog. That was our workout for the day. So I would just practice a few sprints, and then I would watch the track meet. That was for everybody else. I ain't running over no golf course. So I guess I was stubborn even then. So I'm in the stands.
You showed signs of it.
I'm in the stands watching Brownsville, and they had a tri-meet against 3 teams. And Brownsville had a white boy that was supposed to be the fastest in Washington County, and he was fast. So the one team was Steel Valley, and they had this freshman that was so skinny, but he had the longest head I ever seen. It was about this long. Al Levine, the talking machine. So I'm sitting up in the stands for the 100-meter dash, right? This kid was so uncoordinated. He started in lane 1, won the race in lane 8. He got disqualified because he was so uncoordinated, and it was Clinton Davis. And
there's a name from the past.
The next year I went to watch him run, and all of a sudden he had his coordination together. He was the fastest in the state. He was a 3-time state champion. He said he still got the record in the 400, the 200, and the 100 meters. And in his senior year, he couldn't run almost a whole year.
How was his head?
His body was starting to grow into his head. In his senior year, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, he ran independent
What a
across the
scout.
country.
No wonder you're a scout.
So the WPIL ruled him ineligible. But Steel Valley had this other running back named Melvin Anderson. Ended up playing for football for Minnesota and had a cup of coffee with the Steelers. He was the fastest in the state since Clinton couldn't run. The PIAA overturned it, so he was able to run towards the end. Went to states. They won the 400-meter relay. He won the 100, 200, and the 400.
He won it all.
He was the #1 high school kid in the country. In his freshman year, he went to Pitt, but he ran independent. He didn't run for Pitt. He came, and that was the year. That was '84. So that was the
Thanks for the year.
That was the year at Pitt that was an Olympic year, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he made it to the semifinals. Roger Kingdom made it to the Olympics.
I was just going to say, Roger.
They're his workout partners, but nobody heard from him since. He was in a car wreck, racing a car. In a car wreck, broke his legs in 3 places, never ran again, ended up enlisting into the armed forces and became a serviceman. But
Tell him thank you for his service.
That was the story of the fastest guy in WPIL history. His records will probably never be broken, and he could have been an Olympic champion had he stayed healthy. Clinton Davis from Steel Valley.
Thank you, Smoking
I seen him
Jim.
run as a freshman.
Thank you. Ralph gave me a shout out, Speedy Gourmet. Yeah, that's one of my other shows. Anthony
How
Bacca.
about Ralphie's Kitchen? You ever see that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Then Anthony Bacca goes, "Hey, Alan, those brakes look like saw cuts. They were pretty clean. I busted through on that 3rd try. I had to use all my pitching and follow-through skills."
There's no sawdust in that bag. I can attest.
None whatsoever. Paul Haley, Al Levine, the chopping machine. And Chief, Smoking Jim could always run fast because all the sweeties chasing him. Randall Bogart got to make a comment. Smoking Jim, you ever know any white cornerbacks? LOL.
Yeah, guns.
You know how he is. Chip answered that. Now, he knows one now. All right, we're going to go 10 seconds to Chip Hayner and trivia time. We haven't seen it but a couple weeks ago, so we're back at it. Oh, he's ready?
Well, welcome back, everybody, and a little bit of trivia for this week. And last night was a monumental moment in Pirate history. Andrew McCutchen became the 12th Pittsburgh Pirate to get his 1,500th hit as a Pittsburgh Pirate. So congratulations to Andrew McCutchen.
He has more than that, Smoking Jim, if you want to get negative.
He has 1,987 hits.
Yeah, almost 2,000 hits.
Okay, and they're counting them down, and I hope that he breaks the record on June 3rd, which is the next time I will be there to watch the Pirates play.
What record was that?
Oh, he's going to get his 2,000th hit as a major league for him. Yes.
Oh,
okay, it's a personal best. So I would
like
consider that a
you
record.
went from Urkel to a 100-yard and 200-yard dash champion, and we don't know about the relay teams because you weren't a team player except in football
So
because you needed blockers.
So
Okay,
now, thinking
carry on, Chip.
about Andrew McCutchen's accomplishment last night got me to thinking about. I stumbled across something while I was sitting here before the show, chit-chatting with Alan.
Nice.
And this, I don't necessarily agree with this list.
Let's hear
but
it
for the
then.
most part, it would be correct. It's the Pirates' 10 greatest hitters in their history. And I was trying to find the 12 Pirates that have 1,500 hits.
Yeah.
And I would be willing to guess that maybe 2 of them, I'll just make a guess after I'm done with this.
Okay.
Number 1 on the list, Honus Wagner, obviously.
Of course. One of the greatest.
You know, he how many batting titles did he win? I believe he won 8 batting
of them.
titles
Yeah, I remember.
over the course of his career. And I don't have to go through each and every one of his accomplishments.
They're too great, and he was one of the first in
Yeah.
the Hall of Fame class. So imagine how good he was
And
smoking
I mean,
new to
you know,
baseball.
and he in 1911 he won his 8th batting title, and it took until Tony Gwynn won his 8th batting title for somebody to tie him.
Who passed away too young.
Who passed away? That was 80-some years. Okay.
Thank
So
you,
number
Chip.
1, we have what's his? Honus Wagner.
Yeah.
Number 2,
Thanks.
the second best right fielder in Pirates history, Paul Wainer. He's in the Hall of Fame, over 3,000 hits. Wow.
Big and little poison.
Big and little poison. He was an incredible right fielder, and everybody said he had an arm that was equivalent to Clemente's.
And a side note for the fans, I work with some older guys at the Pittsburgh Press that they drank with the Wainer brothers.
Really?
And they said they were very good drinkers, Smoking Jim.
Wow. Even low poison?
Oh, he was better.
Why do you think they called him Poison?
He was better. That's how they got their nickname. Smoking didn't know
So
it.
number 3 on the list, Archie Vaughan from 1932 to
Yeah.
1941. He was not blessed with tremendous power and rarely reached for the fences, but made up for it with a ferocious
But
appetite
let me
for
interrupt.
heads.
Anthony Bacco thought it was average. It's number of hits.
Number of hits, yes. This is not
Yeah.
not in batting
Number
average.
of
How
hits,
many
Anthony.
hits did he have? Do you know?
Number 4, Ralph Kiner.
Yeah, he
Ralph
was here for a
Kiner,
while.
for 6 or 7 years in a row,
About 7,
led the
yeah.
league in home runs. And the Pirates general manager at that time, which I
Branch
believe
Rickey.
Branch Rickey, went to trade him, and he said, "I can't believe that you're going to trade me." And he said, "You know what?
We can lose 100 without you.
We can lose 100 games without you." So
My dad's favorite player.
Tell us the
number
truth.
5, Max Carey, 1910 to 1926, a 17-year veteran who experienced the thick and thin fortune at Pittsburgh. Carey may not have been the fastest base runner, but he was the best. Number 6, Wilver Dornell Stargell.
I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Perhaps the most popular Pirate ever. Pops.
Pops.
We are family. Willie Stargell at number 6. Number 7, Fred Clark. And this is one of those numbers that's retired down in the Pirates Ring of Honor
Yeah.
that people were like, who's number 7? Fred Clark, 1900 to 1915, played with Honus Wagner. Number 8, Barry Bonds from 1986 to 1992. Before he became the man with the ever-increasing hat size.
Well, Clear isn't steroids, but the company selling Clear sold steroids.
Number 9, Andrew McCutchen.
Nice.
Okay, and then number 10, last but not least, the great one, Roberto Clemente. And I don't know, I'd have to check their statistics, but I would think if these 10 or 10 of the people they had 1,500 hits, I would have to say that the other 2 could potentially be either Dave Parker or Al Oliver. I would be willing to bet
Oh,
it's
they
one
had
or
to be
both.
close to that. Yeah.
And
How about Andy Van Slyke? Was he up there?
Andy Van
favorite.
Slyke didn't play long enough.
Right,
Yeah.
That's my man. That's my man.
Well,
But-
especially when he didn't throw out Sid Bream.
And just so that these
He
are
didn't
the
get
10,
the chance because of Bonds.
these are the 10 greatest hitters according to somebody's opinion in Pirate history, not necessarily the players with the highest batting averages.
Hey, we
Good
got a
job,
question from Randall Bogart. Thank you. He goes, question for Chip. So do you remember a pitcher named Jim Umbright? Died a young guy in the 60s, and he has his baseball card.
I do not remember the name Umbright. Unfortunately, I would have to Google him to
Well, he was only born, Randall,
I was born in
1960.
1960, so
Yeah.
I was born
Well, this
5
was
weeks
the
before
60s.
Mazeroski hit the home run.
Yeah, this was the 60s, so he's asking. And Anthony, I mentioned the Clear. Bonds used that, and I had his rookie card, 176 pounds, and he looked like he had a pinhead. Oh, can you say that nowadays?
I don't know.
We'll have to check the PC police.
Yeah.
And
Somebody might find that offensive.
yeah, and Anthony, you're welcome that we clarified that. All right, thanks, Chip. We appreciate all that. You know, I like the stats and the trivia.
Me too.
And now it is VIP time with Nick, whoever you want to call him, Callus.
All right, well, if you forgot, I'm not in the studio today because I'm also running the control room. But let's talk about football. Let's talk about Ben Roethlisberger because not a huge fan of this guy, and maybe not for the reason that you think. But Ben Roethlisberger made some comments. I'm sure you've heard him by now. Said that he didn't want Kenny Pickett to do well initially because he didn't want Pittsburgh to forget about him and his greatness as quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. and he said this on his podcast. And so many people are going out there, they're saying, you know what, it's just human nature, right? It's just human nature for people to think this way. We all want to feel important. We all, nobody wants to be forced out of something that they love, and Ben was forced out of there, out as the quarterback of the Steelers, even though he thought he had more left, right? All this stuff, and they're talking about like they're defending him. Like, we'd rather have honesty as it comes to, when people talk. And, if Ben Roethlisberger can be brutally honest, that's wonderful. And I don't agree with that at all. First of all, I'll just say this, that nobody asked him to say that, or nobody really asked, like, hey, Ben, how do you feel about, Kenny Pickett? And how do you feel about, Kenny Pickett after you left? Like, nobody was talking about that. He kind of threw that out there in conversation as it related to Kenny Pickett. And also, this is just a huge attention ploy. You got to understand that. I advise you all just not to pay attention to Ben if he says words anymore. Like, don't let his words matter so much to you because he's trying to keep the attention. I talked about this a couple years ago when he was allegedly retiring, that the question was always going to be asked until Ben confirmed one way or the other that he was retiring or not. And, of course, if he says he's going to retire, if he says that before the season or mid-season, it's a story for as many as 3 to 5 days, and then it goes away. But if he doesn't outright express that he's going to retire, people are going to ask questions all season. And in which situation does he get more attention? The one where he leaves things ambiguous, of course, because that's what Ben's about. He's very much been a me guy, and even post-career, he still is very much a me guy. Now, he can be more of a me guy because now he's just being himself. But nobody asked for these comments. Nobody asked him to say any of these things. Kenny Pickett was there, and how do you respond to that situation? Kenny had the most awkward response. Is just like, yeah, thanks, man. Because what do you say? Hey, man, I wanted you to do bad until I saw you play, and then I enjoyed texting you after, just telling you great job because texting's fun and watching the Steelers now is fun. It's just, don't let him wrap you up in these things. He's just, either way, when he gets attention, he seems to enjoy when people talk about him, and in this case, he got you. You're talking about him. I really don't think that he meant to hurt Kenny Pickett. I really just think that this was a ploy to get attention on himself by saying, hey, don't forget about me, but also now I support Kenny Pickett, so make sure you pay attention to me thinking these things that, shouldn't be said out loud. It's okay to feel these emotions as humans and kind of internalize them and just kind of let them wash off, but nobody asked him to say that. Nobody asked him to reveal said feelings, and now he looks like a jerk, but that's what he wants. So don't pay attention to Ben so much anymore. If you're going to listen to his podcast, take it as entertainment value, but there's no reason why anybody ever should be seriously upset by any of the comments Ben Roethlisberger makes anymore. That's the opinion.
Thank you, Nick. Anthony Bacco made a great comment backing you up. Ben may be talented when he was young. As a human, he has no class. Anthony Bacco again. Ben's trying to hold on to 15 minutes of fame. So tragic to end that way. Anthony Bacco, so glad Nick brought this up. John Donatelli brought up Al Oliver, great hitter. We say he should be in the Hall of Fame.
No doubt.
2,743 hits. Donatelli came back. Maz, 2,016 hits. So
right,
there's a couple there. Randall
Mazeroski is not in the Hall of Fame because of his batting prowess.
No, we understand that.
Okay.
But we were just talking total hits with the Pirates. Randall Bogart, Ben is just trying to stay relevant. Go into the NFL light, dude. It's over. Way to go, Randall. We appreciate that.
Yes.
Thanks, Nick. And one thing I'll share is people with podcasts, they want you to do something. Listen to their podcast. So you don't have to believe what you're saying. Look at some other guys in local media, what they do to get attention. Look at what Smoking Jim does almost weekly. He says something outrageous so I can do a disclaimer. Hence, reverse discrimination. And he's not a racist. All right, we got attention there. Let's go to my segment. 10 seconds. When?
It's not big enough for you.
All right, on location, you know, we had a great time. We had a packed house at the without Smoking Jim. They missed him. They regretted to have him miss. They want to ask me to be in classes. I said no. Nick was in a class there. And guess who also broke a board that night? They challenged him. They said, Nick, you've gone to a few classes here. We've taught you some things. Nick goes, I want to break a board with my foot.
Wow.
So he did a reverse kick break?
It's called a side kick.
I thought
A
it was
turning
like
side
reverse.
kick.
It was a side kick break. And guess what? He broke the board.
Congratulations,
and not his
Nick.
foot. So
Good job, Nicholas.
we're board breaking machines, and Grandmaster Zhang talked to me privately, and you know, Smoking Jim doesn't keep secrets. He goes, you think Smoking Jim would want to break a board? I said, no way. All the women I know, they go, Smoking Jim has such soft skin.
And such nice fingernails.
So we don't have on location coming up. We will be at Monsville Prison, I was told by Mike Murray and Jim Frio, in August. So we'll be back in the prison, haunted prison, for fights in August. Stay tuned. We still have some feelers out for some bars and restaurants. And this friend of mine that I met at Rev 'em Up for Kids, he has this business called Scorch Garden. You know how all of you that like hot stuff, and I mean not the wimpy guys that say, give me hot wings, and then they go, they're too hot. I'm talking about the guys that start sweating eating hot stuff. He has me talking about a challenge to do it somewhere, maybe even in the studio, get 10, 15 guys, and they'd win a prize. Maybe the top 3, we'd have prizes with certificates or something, to see who could eat the hottest wings. Wow. So that could be a coming attraction. Smoking Jim will just have a cup of milk. He won't have a wing. So I just wanted to share that. And hold it. Randall Bogart, he's on fire. Smoking Jim, come to Nebraska. Our honeys are corn-fed.
All right. All right.
He may come up there. We got about, what do we have, about 7 minutes to go. So we'll just open it up to discussion. Like, anybody want to talk about LeBron? Anybody want to talk about the NHL? Nick included. You know, we're all here even though they can't see you.
LeBron's not retiring. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay, and Pete Kasich says, since this is a sports show, I'd like to see your Sports Illustrated version of a swimsuit edition. Well, I'll share, Pete, let me just tell you and everybody, if you go to Jim Frazier, it's not his government name, it's not Smokin', Jim Frazier on Facebook, you will see some of the most beautiful women in Pittsburgh, and he calls them Steel City Beauties, and just go to his page.
As far as any of us in swimsuits, too much information.
Yeah. I'll see, Pete, I'll see you at the barbecue at Bill Boyce's, and I'll be wearing my usual Pittsburgh Sportsline polo.
When is the cue?
I don't know. Is it on Monday?
Is it Monday or Sunday?
I don't know. We got to check.
Okay, I got to double check.
And Guns has some honeys as well, said Randall Bogart. We're going to have a competition show if they can get all of their honeys in to the studio on one night. We'll announce it and I'll promote it. So we'll get them to bring their honeys, and they're going to have a contest competing one-on-one. Anthony Bacco, how about Pete Rose for Hall of Fame? I'm against it at this point in time. If they want to do it posthumously, which Smoking Jim, that means he'd be dead. He did break the rules of baseball, Anthony, and I know there's a lot of rules being broken nowadays, but that's one of the rules in baseball you don't make. Look at Kennesaw Landis that created that.
The only thing I have to say anytime anybody suggests that Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, go to the rules of baseball, Rule 21, paragraph D, read that. It's pretty black and white.
He didn't do it as a player. He
did it as a player and as a manager.
He did it. He gambled his whole life. I had a guy named Roger Houston, the voice of the Meadows.
Yes, there is.
That he gambled as a player?
And as a manager.
There's no proof of that.
Smoking Jim, let me explain some baseball history that you may not know. Because they couldn't bet on baseball, guess what their favorite sport was because you could bet?
Horses.
Horse racing. Yeah.
They all were famous horse racing players. You met Roger Houston from the Meadows. He's from Ohio. Guess who he met one time, young in his career? Pete Rose. Guess where they were at?
What?
A track. Guess what Pete was doing?
Betting on horses.
Because he was a degenerate gambler like you.
On horses, yeah.
And other things. We can't talk about it. It was a private conversation. But just like you and bragging about gambling 250 and winning 250, losing 250 and, whatever. Pete did that and worse because he did it with bookmakers like, who's your boy, Tony Baloney?
Macaroni Tony.
Yeah, Macaroni Tony.
4,000 hits.
Pete came up with, my calendar says Bill's party's on Sunday. We will see you there on Sunday. Smoking Jim's committing to it now.
Yeah,
All right.
You'll be a block away from me.
Yeah, that's great. Come on down. You're more than welcome. You and Steph. Hobble down. If it's all downhill, we're good. I'll drive you back up.
Uphill's the easy part.
Okay.
Downhill's the challenging part
Okay,
for me
then
right now.
I'll drive you downhill then.
There you go.
And we got a few minutes to go.
Can I?
One thing, Paul Haley said Florida's on fire. The Panthers will be the SC champs.
Well, and that's what I wanted to touch on.
There we go.
Right now,
Thanks
the
for being in
Florida
tune, Paul.
Panthers won the first game of the series against Carolina in 4 overtimes with 15 seconds left in the fourth overtime.
Is that unbelievable?
Keith Kachuk scored the game-winning goal. All right, and now fast forward to game 2. Into the first overtime, same guy scores the game-winning goal. Florida's up 2-0. That's winning 2 games in Carolina. They came back. They won last night. They're up 3-0 right now.
Right.
The Vegas Knights.
Oh, you're right.
The Vegas Knights and the Dallas Stars are on the other side. The Vegas Knights were up 2-0. They play tonight.
Yes.
Okay. So the Stanley Cup, just because the Penguins aren't in it, doesn't mean it's not being played. And let's not forget about the other basketball series.
Yes.
You got the Miami Heat
Yeah.
going
Jimmy
up against
Butler.
the Boston Celtics, and they're up 3-0 on the Boston Celtics. And I don't really pay much attention to the NBA, but Charles Barkley, somebody said something to the effect that the Boston Celtics laid down in Game 3, and Charles Barkley said, if you don't believe it, watch the game tape. Said that on national TV.
He's funny.
Wow. No, they are hilarious. I do watch the NBA and the NHL playoffs. I enjoy it.
If Miami wins tonight, that means that the finals won't start until a week from Thursday.
Wow.
Because they built in the event that the series each won 7 games.
Wow.
Right.
And both series could end in sweeps.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. A lot of good sports out there. In Pittsburgh, we forget about everybody but our own teams, except for Smoking Jim, unless you got a comment to make that may not be positive. And how was your journey to Harrisburg for the Western Pennsylvania Hall of Fame?
It's always an honor to go to Harrisburg, man. The capital of
How's the food?
The food was excellent. Red Lion Hotel was awesome, and got to meet a lot of people that didn't look like me.
Smoking Jim, I understand you're not racist and never experienced it, and everybody else was white and
I
right.
had the black
They
vote.
were all white and right, and we got to end the show. And please stay Joey strong.